announcement, if I can. I want to address the recent allegations that have been made against me. As you probably know, the Attorney General is doing an independent review, and I will fully cooperate with that review. Now, the lawyers say I shouldn't say anything when you have a pending review until that review is over. I understand that. I'm a lawyer too. But I want New Yorkers to hear from me directly on this. First, I fully support a woman's right to come forward. And I think it should be encouraged in every way. I now understand that I acted in a way that made people feel uncomfortable. It was unintentional, and I truly and deeply apologize for it. I feel awful about it, and frankly, I am embarrassed by it. And that's not easy to say, but that's the truth. But this is what I want you to know, and I want you to know this from me directly. I never touched anyone inappropriately. I never touched anyone inappropriately. I never knew at the time that I was making anyone feel uncomfortable. I never knew at the time I was making anyone feel uncomfortable. And I certainly never, ever meant to offend anyone or hurt anyone or cause anyone any pain. That is the last thing I would ever want to do. I ask the people of this state to wait for the facts from the Attorney General's report before forming an opinion. Get the facts, please, before forming an opinion. And the Attorney General is doing that review. I will fully cooperate with it, and then you will have the facts. And make a decision when you know the facts. I also want you to know that I have learned from what has been an incredibly difficult situation for me as well as other people. And I've learned an important lesson. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for whatever pain I caused anyone. I never intended it. And I will be the better for this experience. Thank you. Questions?
Thank you, Governor.
Thank you, Governor. Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. So I actually have two questions. My first one is, if a member of your administration had done what you are currently accused of and have admitted to, what would you tell them, and what would be a satisfactory disposition for you?
Well, let's be clear on the facts. First, we haven't gotten the facts. Let the Attorney General do a review and let's get the facts. And that's what I said in my statement to New Yorkers. I'm a former Attorney General. I've been through a situation too many times where everybody has an opinion because they read this, and then all of a sudden the facts come out and it's a different situation. So wait for the facts before you form an opinion. And as I said, my behavior here, I never touched anyone inappropriately. I never knew at the time that I was making anyone feel uncomfortable. And if I ever did make people feel uncomfortable, which I now understand that I have, I apologize for it. But then let the Attorney General's office actually review the facts. Next.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Next question, operator.
Governor, your next question comes from Jeff Kulikowski of WSYR. Jeff, your line is now open. Please unmute your microphone.
Hi, Governor. I was curious, and I know you said and apologized several times this afternoon. Who were you apologizing to?
I was apologizing to the young woman who worked here, who said that I made her feel uncomfortable and in the workplace.
Were you also speaking to New Yorkers, Governor?
Oh, to New Yorkers, I am saying that I'm embarrassed by what happened. I wear a pin that says pride, integrity, performance. That's what it says on the pin. You can't read it. Pride, integrity, performance. So I'm embarrassed that someone felt that way in my administration. I'm embarrassed and hurt, and I apologize that somebody who interacted with me felt that way. Again, I didn't know at the time I was making her feel uncomfortable. I never meant to, but that doesn't matter. If a person feels uncomfortable, if a person feels pain, if a person is offended, I feel very badly about that, and I apologize for it. There's no but, you know, I'm sorry. Let's take one more question, operator.
Governor, your next question comes from Jennifer Lukey of WHEC. Jennifer, your line is now open. Please unmute your microphone.
Good afternoon, Governor. I actually have two questions, one for you and one for Melissa. Governor, have you yourself taken the sexual harassment training required by New York that all employers are to give to their employees? And Melissa, as the highest ranking woman in state government right now, and someone who interacts with the governor on a daily basis, how do you feel about these allegations against him? And what is your message to women who see you in your position and see these allegations against the governor?
Short answer is yes, and I'll turn it over to Melissa. Just keep in mind, there are hundreds and hundreds of people who work with Melissa. We have more senior women in this administration than probably at any administration in history. But I'll ask Melissa to respond.
Again, I would just ask that everyone refrain from judgment until the Attorney General is allowed to do her work. We've asked her to come in. Everyone's going to fully comply with that. But I am incredibly proud of the work that this administration has done to further women's rights, to expand protections for women in the workplace, out of the workplace, maternal health, reproductive health. The list goes on and on and on. And I'm also proud that in my time as secretary, we've seen more women rise to highest levels in terms of commissioners and senior staff levels. And we've promoted each other and we've supported one another. And I don't think that this diminishes any of that. And I look forward to continuing the work that we're doing in order to continue to further the women's agenda and strengthen women's rights for all New Yorkers.
Okay. Thank you all very much. Have a good day. COVID numbers are good. Still be smart. Thank you.
We'll take a brief moment to compile the Q&A roster. Governor, your first question comes from Marcia Kramer of WCBS. Marcia, your line is now open. Please unmute your microphone.
Governor, can you hear me?
Marcia Kramer, the Dean of the Delegation.
So, Governor, I have actually two questions. First of all, I wonder if, given the distractions of these two investigations, especially the one involving sexual harassment, you feel that you might want to step aside, or that you should step aside, especially in negotiating the budget, which could be one of the most important budgets that the state has ever had to deal with. And my second question has to do with the pictures that have surfaced of you touching the face of Anna Ruck. The reason I'm asking the question is that I've also seen circulated pictures of you touching the faces of people all over the state, young and old, whatever, and I wonder what you make of those pictures.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Marcia. Let me take both questions. First, you're right about the state budget. It is critically important. The state budget is going to turn the page to the rebuilding phase. We've been working very hard to get funding from Washington to fill the gap, and that has been going well. We have to see what we actually get. But we then have tremendous financial needs on top of that. People have to pay their rent, they need food, et cetera. You also have New York City, which is in a very precarious situation. It's teetering, to use a word. Crime is way up. Homelessness is way up. Many people have left New York City. Hamptons, Mid-Hudson Valley, other states. We have to get New York City functional again and safe again and viable again, and we have to do that quickly. We have a new mayor that's going to be selected basically in June, I guess. Something could happen in November, but basically in June. And that work has to start right away. So yes, the budget is very important. Having said
Should
that,
you step aside, though, and let somebody else handle it?
yeah, having said that, I'm going to cooperate with the Attorney General's investigation and do the budget. Remember, we did a budget last year in the spring in the heat of COVID, where it was the most intense period of my life, of this government's life, of this state's life. And we did both, and we'll do both here. On the pictures, Marcia, I understand the opinion of and feelings of Ms. Ruhr. And you are right. You can find hundreds of pictures of me making the same gesture with hundreds of people, women, men, children, etc. You can go find hundreds of pictures of me kissing people, men, women. It is my usual and customary way of greeting. You know that because you've watched me for, let's just say, more years than we care to remember. By the way, it was my father's way of greeting people. You're the governor of the state. You want people to feel comfortable. You want to reach out to them. I do it. I kiss and hug legislators. I was at an event in Queens the other day. Hugged the pastors and the assembly members who were there. So that is my way to do that. However, what I also understand is it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter my intent. What it matters is if anybody was offended by it. And I could intend no offense, but if they were offended by it, then it was wrong. And if they were offended by it, I apologize. And if they were hurt by it, I apologize. And if they felt pain from it, I apologize. I apologize. I did not intend it. I didn't mean it that way. But if that's how they felt, that's all that matters, and I apologize. Next question, operator.
Governor, I just wanted to ask you, with all these calls in the last couple of days calling for your resignation from some Democrats, certainly not all Democrats, but some Democrats, is today, since you've been gone for about a week, is this your way of saying, I'm certainly not resigning?
Yeah. Dave, look, some politicians will always play politics, right? That's the nature of the beast. I don't think today is a day for politics. I wasn't elected by politicians. I was elected by the people of the state of New York. I'm not going to resign. I work for the people of the state of New York. They elected me, and I'm going to serve the people of the state of New York. And by the way, we have a full plate. We have COVID. We have recovery. We have rebuilding. We have a teetering New York City. We have a terrible financial picture. We have to do vaccines. So no, I'm going to do the job the people of the state elected me to do. Next question, operator.
Statement, and then we'll take your questions. As I have said before, and I firmly believe, and my administration has always represented, women have a right to come forward and be heard, and I encourage that fully. But I also want to be clear. There is still a question of the truth. I did not do what has been alleged, period. I won't speculate about people's possible motives, but I can tell you as a former Attorney General who's gone through this situation many times, there are often many motivations for making an allegation. And that is why you need to know the facts before you make a decision. There are now 2 reviews underway. No one wants them to happen more quickly and more thoroughly than I do. Let them do it. I'm not going to argue this issue in the press. That is not how it is done. That is not the way it should be done. Serious allegations should be weighed seriously, right? That's why they are called serious. As I've told New Yorkers many times, there are facts and then there are opinions. And I've always separated the two. When I do briefings, I put out the facts and then I offer my opinions. But they are 2 different concepts. Politicians who don't know a single fact, but yet form a conclusion and an opinion are, in my opinion, reckless and dangerous. The people of New York should not have confidence in a politician who takes a position without knowing any facts or substance. That, my friends, is politics at its worst. Politicians take positions for all sorts of reasons, including political expediency and bowing to pressure. But people know the difference between playing politics, bowing to cancel culture, and the truth. People know the difference between playing politics, bowing to cancel culture, and the truth. Let the review proceed. I'm not going to resign. I was not elected by the politicians. I was elected by the people. Part of this is that I am not part of the political club. And you know what? I'm proud of it. This is all that I'm going to say on this topic at this time. I made a promise to the people of the state. I have a job to do. I've been doing it for 11 years. This is probably the most critical time in the state's history. Everything that I have learned in the federal government, as Attorney General, as Governor, I am bringing to the table at this moment. We have a budget due in 2 weeks for a state that is in fiscal crisis. It will be the most difficult budget we have done. We have to perform 15 million vaccinations, and we have to be ready on May 1 for eligibility for the entire state. Never been done before. And then we have to rebuild our state from the bottom up because we have serious issues all across the state, especially in New York City. That is my job. That's why I was elected. That's what I am supposed to do, and that is exactly what I'm going to focus on. For the people of the state, look, they have known me for 40 years. They elected me Attorney General. They elected me Governor 3 times. I have been in the public eye my entire life. My entire life, I have been under public scrutiny since I was 23 years old and ran my father's campaign. New Yorkers know me. Wait for the facts. Wait for the facts. Then you can have an opinion. I am confident that when New Yorkers know the facts from the review, I am confident in the decision based on the facts. But wait for the facts. An opinion without facts is irresponsible. I'm going to focus on my job because we have real challenges, and people who say avoid distractions, I'm going to avoid distractions, and I'm going to focus on my job. I have to get a budget done. I have to get vaccinations done. I have to rebuild the state, and I'm going to cooperate and wait for the reviews so we actually have the facts, and then we can have an intelligent conversation. Questions, operator?
Yes, sir. As a reminder, to ask a question, you will need to press star 1 on your telephone. To withdraw your question, press the pound key. Your first question is from Andrew Schiff of WNBC-TV. Your line is open.
Governor, good afternoon. I have 2 questions for you. The first question is, you say that an opinion without facts is irresponsible. Some of the lawmakers who called for your resignation today include Congressman Jerry Nadler, Congresswoman Carolyn Maloney, Congresswoman Grace Meng. Are you saying that those elected officials are irresponsible? And my second question is, you have said repeatedly that you never touched anyone inappropriately. Is there a misunderstanding where there, in your mind, was consensual touching taking place in one or more allegations?
Yeah, let's do 2 things. Look, I respect any elected official's right to take a position on anything. But as I said, my way is know the facts before you have an opinion. Oh, this is a serious allegation. Well, then you should take it seriously, right? And to take it seriously means you need the facts before you come to a conclusion. How do you come to a conclusion before you know the facts? Well, this person alleged this. I was Attorney General, Andrew. A lot of people allege a lot of things for a lot of reasons. You never heard me, as Attorney General, go out and talk about an allegation until we were confident that there was a basis and we had reviewed the facts. Any politician can take any position on any given day. That's their right. Do I think it is responsible to take a position on a serious allegation before you know any facts? No, I don't think it's responsible. On your point, on your second point, look, it's very simple. I never harassed anyone. I never abused anyone. I never assaulted anyone. Now, and I never would, right? Now, is it possible that I have taken a picture with a person who, after the fact, says they were uncomfortable with the pose in the picture? Yes. And that's what you're hearing about. Now, I have taken thousands of pictures. I never meant to make anyone feel uncomfortable. I never meant to make anyone feel awkward. There are times when I go to take a picture with a person and I can feel that they're standoffish or something, and I respect that. I never took a picture with a person who said, I'm uncomfortable, and then did it anyway. But yes, I apologized for people who I have taken pictures with and who after the fact said they were uncomfortable with that picture. Next question, operator.
Yes, sir. Your next question is from Morgan McKay of Spectrum News. Your line is open.
Hello, Governor.
Morgan, your line is open.
Yes, I can,
Hello.
Morgan.
Thank you. So, Governor, at this point, many Democratic lawmakers, those in your party, have lost faith in your ability to lead. At what point would you step down? If an impeachment investigation were to begin, would you resign? Also, what is your current opinion on the launch of the impeachment investigation by the Assembly Judiciary Committee? And then third question for you, why did your administration edit a health report regarding nursing home statistics after it had been submitted by health officials? Why did your administration feel like it knew more than these health officials? Thank you.
Okay. First, Morgan, my point is, let's get the review, and then let's get the facts, and then New Yorkers can make a decision once they have facts. You don't have facts now. You have allegations. Well, why don't I debate it in the press? No, that's not the way things are done. So I think the Assembly and the Attorney General, that's the right way to do it. Do a review, get the facts, tell the facts to the people of the state, and then we take it from there. On the review, I'll ask Beth to respond, but you should know it is commonplace where an agency works on a report with the chamber. That is the common operating procedure. It's not that an agency just does a report and puts it out and then we read about it in the press. Because there are a lot of, in the chamber, you have a variety of expertise. So that happens, that is the normal operating protocol. But let me ask Beth about the health department.
Yes, Morgan, we can send you our prior comments on this matter. The report was done in collaboration with the Department of Health, and so we can refer you back to those comments.
Next question, operator.
Yes, sir. And the next question is from David Evans of ABC Channel 7. Your line is open.
Hey, Governor, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, Dave.
Hey, Governor, I wanted to ask along the same line of question that Andrew asked just a second ago, and forgive me here for being a little blunt, but I think the question that a lot of us have is, was there some kind of a consensual romantic relationship with any of these women that you understood?
Yeah, look.
I'm not talking.
Statement. Go ahead. Dave, my statement could not be clearer, I think. I never harassed anyone. I never assaulted anyone. I never abused anyone. To the extent you get these people who say, well, he took a picture with me and I was uncomfortable, I apologized for that. And I'm sure, look, I took thousands of pictures. I'm sure you can do this all day long. When we take these pictures, we take them in public, Dave. There's a photographer there. It's not like they're done in secret. They literally are being photographed. I mean, I am in crowds of hundreds of people when we're taking these pictures. You know, they stand on receiving lines for a long time to take the picture. But what is being alleged simply did not happen. And that's why you have to wait to get the facts. I'm not going to do it in the press. It's not the way it should be done. It doesn't respect anybody's rights. Next question, operator.
Your next question is from Juliet Papa of 1010 Wins Radio. Your line is open.
Good afternoon, Governor. I was wondering how you think you can effectively lead amidst the allegations and the calls for your resignation and these growing investigations.
Juliet, I have to get a budget done with the legislature in 2 weeks. They are doing an investigation, and that's fine, and we'll cooperate with the investigation. In the meantime, we're going to negotiate a budget. In the meantime, I have to do millions of vaccines. And this is not the first time that we've had to walk and chew gum here, right? We had to fight COVID for a year, and we had to keep the state running. I've even gone through situations in my administration where we had terrible emergencies and floods and disasters, and we had to take care of that. And we had to do everything else at the same time. I had to fight Donald Trump for 4 years every day and run the state. I've had investigations before in the state that went on for years by federal prosecutors and continued to operate the state. So, you know, the Assembly has their job to do. They handed it off to a committee. They're doing that job. Fine. We now have 2 weeks to do the budget. I have to do the vaccines. And this is how government works. You handle multiple issues at the same time. And I don't think there's a person in a better position to help the state get through this period than the experience that I bring to it. This is not going to be an easy budget to do. I'm telling you that right now. This is not going to be easy to get these vaccinations done. I'm telling you right now. So I think I can be of tremendous help, and I'm focused on my job. The Assembly is focused on their job, and the Senate is focused on their job. So I'm confident that if everybody does their job, we'll do the best we can. Now, the budget is hard. The budget is hard to get done on time every year, right? And this is probably the hardest budget that we've ever done. This is also probably the most polarized political climate that we have. You have very different theories within the Democratic Party right now. You've seen it at play nationally. You've seen it at play here. That is one of the factors that is going on, right? No situation happens in a vacuum. This is a political environment that we are operating on. And politics is part of all of this. But I just will focus on my job. In the meantime, I want to make it clear that what is being alleged just did not happen. The last allegation is not true. And I have not had a sexual relationship that was inappropriate, period. Okay. Thank you all very much. Thank you.